as good an opening to any Shabbat service as I can imagine. And it gets better because tonight we have the honor of inviting Susan Singer to come forward. Susan was recently installed as the new sisterhood president here at Temple Israel, and then immediately she got on a plane and left for Israel. And now she's back to bring a little bit of the light from the Holy Land to us tonight for our Shabbat. I believe we are on page, they didn't tell our page number, let's do page 12.
This is Israel's day of light and joy, a Sabbath of rest. As we kindle these Sabbath flames, may there be light and joy and happiness and holiness, serenity and peace in our homes and in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahag lekner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, eternal source of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. The Chalodis on page 34.
Shabbat. We join together on page 41 at the top of the page. We give each other hints in smiles and glances, in loving words, in sharp reminders. We give each other hints, knowingly or unknowingly, in great thunderclaps or still small voices. We give each other hints in these bonds of family, in these gifts of friendship, spoken or unspoken, as together we find our way to God.
Shabbat, vi bar, vi tromman, vi nasser, vi tadar, vi talle, vi talal, shemei de kudesha, zeila min kol berchata, veshirata, tush bechata, velnechemata, na'amir al lehalma, veiberu, la 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 la.
How many of you guys were outside today? If you weren't outside today, make sure you're outside tomorrow. I'm going to let that be our prayer, thanking God for the beauty of nature, as we turn to page 46 and just read together the Hatimah at the bottom of the page. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, O God, who makes the evening fall. Page 53. Yud He Vav He. Steeped in history, shrouded in mystery, we look away from the name like sleepers, shielding their eyes from a vivid light as they awake together. We peer through the fences tradition has built, peel away the euphemisms and code names, the clouds of incense, the pillars of fabled fire. Breathe in Yud, breathe out He. Breathe in Vav, breathe out He. Let that breath, that endless name, infuse our spirits, a breath of God within us, the arrival point of all holy names.
On page 57. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The bottom of page 60. Standing at the water's edge, the sea spray on your cheek. Close your eyes and feel within the beating of freedom's drum. Listen closely on the breeze. Do you hear the music of the ages? O God, you beat the drum. You are the song. You are the wonder in each of us. With joy and awe, we sing to you this song of freedom.
Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Israel.
On page 64 together. Cause us, our Creator, to lie down in peace, and raise us up, O sovereign God, to renewed life and peace. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Be our shield of mercy and of peace. Baruch atah Adonai. Hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
rise together on page 68.
Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh ha'akol, V'zocher chasdei avot ve'imaot, U'mevii geula livnei bneihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshiach magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם, אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנת להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום מהללוך הסלע, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
As you're seated, we pray silently.
already asked us about being outside this week, and certainly it's been incredible weather and given us a lot of blessing, truly, in our lives. And so on Wednesday, I noticed a baby fawn in my yard. Now, you have to understand, he was like this big, and he was all curled up in a ball, and there was no mother deer around to look after it. And so I started getting a little worried because I thought a mother is not going to leave her baby. So I kept going outside and looking to see if it was still there, and it was. And so I finally went online and to the Bloomfield Hills Nature Center, because I know they have like a deer center there. And I was going to call and say, what do I do about this deer? And on their homepage it says, this is, fawn season, and you're going to find baby deer in your yard. Don't touch them, leave them alone, and their mothers come at night and nurse them, and they're fine. So I was relieved, and Danny wanted to know if we could keep it. I won't even let him have a dog, let alone a deer. It makes me think about the people who are in the hospital who don't have the ability to go outside and experience the sunshine and experience the wonder of creation that we get to see every day. And so I hope that we can take a little of our experiences this week, send it to those who are in need, ask for a special blessing, a refuah shlema of body and of spirit, as we sing together Misha Be'erach on page 83.
Good Shabbos. I love the tefillah team. I do. I love one member of the tefillah team a little more than the others. No, Michael, it's not you. I'm sorry. But I love them all. It's such a beautiful service when they are singing. How many of you remember Duchenin? Does that ring a bell from conservative or Orthodox background? A little? Not really? In a traditional synagogue, the Kohanim, or those who believe that they are descended from the ancient priests of Israel, would go up to the bima, face the congregation, put their talesim over their heads, reach out their arms, form the sign of a shin like this, and then with great drama, they would pronounce the priestly benediction, which is found in our Torah portion this Shabbat. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, you know the one. The drama was even more greatly heightened by the fact that you were not allowed to look at the Kohanim during this special blessing, not allowed even to peek. If you did, you would go blind. I, for one, peeked. I have been wearing contact lenses ever since. This mysterious ceremony had such an impression on the young Leonard Nimoy that when his role as Mr. Spock on Star Trek called for a special Vulcan greeting, he immediately utilized the three-pronged hand formation
of the priestly benediction, thus entering it into popular culture for all time. Of course, those men who came up to the front of the synagogue were not really priests. Since the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, there have been no priests in Judaism. The Kohanim were replaced by rabbis, an office which, unlike the priesthood, is not hereditary, except in my case, of course. Those who call themselves Kohanim today are not only Safek Kohanim, or doubtful priests, but although the priesthood has lost its power, the priestly benediction has not. True story. I was called to the bedside in the hospital of someone who was dying. And she was clearly on her last breath. And as I do at those times, we said the Shema together, and then I placed my hands with the shins on her head, and I recited the priestly benediction, Yivarechecha. The family said, Rabbi, we'll call you, we want to do the funeral on Sunday. Sunday passed, Monday passed. By Tuesday, I figured I'd better get back to the hospital and see what was happening. And when I walked in, there she was, sitting up in the chair, flirting with the orderly and eating a bagel. So I said to her, what happened? And she said, Rabbi, you saved my life. She said, I heard you saying the priestly benediction, and I knew it was not my time to die. That's what happened. At that exact moment, the doctor, her doctor, a member of our congregation, walked into the room and said to her, we'll call her Mrs. Schwartz, it's really a miracle. Your signs are good, your blood pressure is great. He says, I think we're going to discharge you today. It's a miracle. And I put my arm around his shoulder and I said, Doctor, that's the good news. The bad news is she's giving me all the credit. So this is a benediction of truly great power. And we use it at almost every important moment of a Jew's life, except, by the way, it was not traditionally part of the wedding ceremony, but we do it there anyway because we just throw it in whenever we can. But there were special prayers, special rules about the Kohanim were to say this prayer, which I believe say a great deal about the nature of the blessing itself. First, we are told the priest must recite the blessing panim el panim, facing the people, face to face. This is very significant. To face someone is to recognize that he or she is a human being worthy of direct encounter. This is not as easy as it may sound. There are so many forces keeping us from directly encountering the other. Cell phones, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. If you're not careful, you will find yourself tweeting out nonsense like kofef, but not really speaking, not really encountering another directly, not panim el panim. But let's say you do put down the phone and actually have a direct conversation. Is it really a conversation? Or just pretending to listen while you are formulating your own next brilliant points? Points which in my case are indeed brilliant, but do not constitute true face-to-face, heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul, ear-to-ear listening and responding. But of course, standing face-to-face is not enough. By itself, panim el panim can mean nothing more than an expression of confrontation, standing toe-to-toe, being at loggerheads, facing off, nose to nose. Thus, there is a second requirement for the priest as they are saying the Birkat Kohanim. They must recite the blessing, ba'ahava, with love. Now, I have always had a problem with this requirement. How is the Kohen, the priest, supposed to accomplish this? Imagine this scene. You are a Kohen. Each year you are called up to the front of the congregation to bless the congregation, the entire congregation, ba'ahava, with love. Usually you have no problem with this, but this has been a most peculiar year. First, you found your wife having an affair with one of the Brotherhood vice presidents, who in turn was the business partner of one of your major clients. He talked your client into dropping his account with you, at which point you were fired for losing a major book of business. As it turned out, your ex-wife's lawyer was also the synagogue's treasurer, who after winning an exorbitant settlement for your wife, proceeded to raise your synagogue dues. And now the high holy days have come, and they are all out there in the congregation. Your ex, the Brotherhood vice president, the synagogue treasurer, everybody. And you are commanded to bless them ba'ahava, with love. Clearly, this is a different type of love. This type of love is not a feeling. It is a decision. And I believe that most love that is important is exactly that, a decision. It is a decision to empathize with the other, not necessarily to like him, but to try and understand him. Edgar Watson Howe once said, "You needn't love your enemy, but if you refrain from telling lies about him, you are doing well enough." This is not ecstatic love. It is determined equanimity. It is being a mensch. It is looking for the sanctity and godliness in all people, even the ones you can't stand. It is doing the right thing, regardless of what you feel like doing. And finally, there is a third rule regulating the saying of Birkat Kohanim, and that is Nesiat Kapayim, which means stretching forth your hands. This rule goes beyond the first two rules of recognition and love. A readiness to stretch out one's hands requires us to take action, to uplift the fallen, to heal the sick, to create a better world. Now, I recognize that although we preach about this all the time, it is not always as easy as it would seem to find meaningful ways to do exactly that, to reach out one's hands and help. That is why we at Temple Israel have challenged ourselves over the next 12 months to literally triple the number of opportunities for our members to get their hands dirty, or perhaps get their hands clean would be a better phrase, and help. Help the less fortunate, help our own members in their times of struggle, help the institution itself. You'll be hearing a good deal more about this, but if you are interested in Nesiat Kapayim, in reaching out your hands to help, please do shoot me an email or make a face-to-face appointment. And I will make sure that your ideas, your vision, your talents, your willingness to help are included in our very ambitious plans for personal and organizational transformation. You may have noticed that I have spoken for 10 minutes now about peace and have not once mentioned the situation in the Middle East, North Korea, Manchester, the Paris Accords, or not even the canceled Noah concert. This was intentional, even though all three of these principles of blessing most certainly do have political as well as personal applications. But this was not a sermon for out there. This was a sermon for in here. And so what better way to end a sermon about blessing than with a blessing? Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God cause you to stand face to face with the people in your life, friends and enemies alike. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May you be caring enough to bless those people with the decision of love. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you reach out your hands to them in order to bring about a world of love, of friendship, of healing, and of peace. Ken yehi ratzon. May it be your will, O God. And let us all say, Amen.
Too. I love that piece. So I turned to Rabbi Yedwab in the middle, and I was just confirming who was doing announcements, and I said, Ed's doing the blessing? Instead of announcements, okay. Ed Broyle, Dr. Ed Broyle, a member of our tefillah team and executive committee, will come forward to do our blessing.
Shabbat Shalom. What a great sermon. And I have to tell you guys something about the tefillah team. And it's an honor. It's really an honor and a joy to sing with these people, and especially to be led by Cantor Smolash, because he's our guru. And if you could just come to the rehearsals, you would understand they're just as much fun as this. And And the true blessing for us is to feel the congregation coming back to us in prayer and in song, and it's just a wonderful thing. So thank everybody for letting me be a part of that. Of all the things I get to do at Temple Israel, this has to be the most fun. We do have several things going on coming up here at Temple. Tickets are on sale for the annual Jazz-a-Lot Music for the Soul concert, and it's dedicated to cancer patients and their caregivers. It's going to be this coming Tuesday, June the 6th at 7 p.m. right here at Temple, and it features some of the greatest jazz musicians in the Detroit area, like George Benson, the Cliff Manier Trio, and the Southeastern Music Academy Jazz Ensemble. All the proceeds go to help patients and their families. So if you want to hear some good jazz and help a lot of people, come to this program. If you've always wanted to learn Kabbalah, our new class, Gateway to Oneness with Cantor Smolash, is just for you. The next class is going to be Thursday, June the 8th at 10 a.m. It's an insightful Kabbalistic text that provides a remarkable glimpse into the structure and flow of the ongoing creative forces that form our world. And Cantor Smolash is the perfect person to deliver it. Then Sunday, June the 11th at 7:30 p.m., we're delighted to bring Project Trio back to the Shamir Music Series. Project Trio is a passionate, high-energy ensemble composed of 3 virtuosos from Brooklyn, blending their classical training with an eclectic taste in musical styles. Don't miss this special evening. And after services tonight, join us for the Oneg and Shabbat greetings. On behalf of the officers and the members of the Board of Trustees, let me wish y'all Shabbat Shalom.
We turn now to the Aleinu, page 189. If there are some very young members of our congregation, if you're 11 years old or younger, we'd like you to join us up here on the bima for Shabbat treat as we rise now, page 189.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו גהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We turn now to the task of memory, as we recall those who've died in recent days in the period of Shloshim. We remember Sonia Balbus, Joanna Berger, Milton Berger, Paula Blair, Harry Dalsey, Bernice Sachs Davidson, Patricia Woolrush Davis, Antonia Appelman, Ethel Frankfurt, Joseph Garlock, Eleanor Gell, Deborah Goldberg, Dr. Daniel Goodman, Fred Green, Larry Harris, Elaine Isco, Esther Kaber, Jane Laughlin Howard, Elizabeth Leiter, Javira Levin, Jacqueline Markovitz, Linda Merkel, Barbara Michael, Harold Orden, Sid Plimer, Fred Pollock, Sandy Stark, Gloria Sternberg, Shelley Sloan, Betty Taylor, Charles Tink, Alina Volotsky, Harold Weingart, Rita Bernstein Zamler. And we remember those whose yard sites fall at this time: Florence Altus, Ida Arkin Soskin, Louise Band, Talia Aaron Brooks, Seymour Cantor, Ben Cohen, Chester Colin, Harold Dean, Marianne Ferrari, Ronald Finsilver, Robert Gunsberg, Shirley Kerman, Lawrence Lovett, Eugene Lunkin, Samuel Rake, Leon Seltz, Zena Sheikhet, George Victor, Milton Yoles, Jerry Zucker, Jenny Weinstein, Sally Hendon Kraft, Dr. Jim Snyderman, Benjamin Benison, Ann Rake, Sarah Kahn, Philip Kahn, Myron Gerber, Mitchell Schechter, Frank Samuel Kraus, Arnold Babe Seamus, Harold Tobias, Evelyn Columbus, Adrian Oranger, and Arthur Hendrick. Tehei Nishmotehem Soror B'Tzrachaim. May their souls be bound up in the bond of everlasting life and memory, as we turn now to page 199 for the words of the Kaddish. Yid Gadal v'Yid Kadash Shemei Rabba, Ve'alma Didra Cherute V'Yamlich Malchute, V'Haye Chon V'Yomei Chon, V'Chaye Duchol Beit Yisrael, V'Agalau V'Zman Karib V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Omei Omaya. Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yipa'ar V'Yidromam V'Yinaseh. V'Yitadar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalal Shemei Nekucha Bariku. Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata. Tush B'chata V'Nechemata. Damiran V'Yalma V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Osei Shalom B'Mromav. Huya Asei Shalom. Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved among us. Amen.
We turn to page 1 to conclude our service with Am Yisrael Chai and thank our beautiful tefillah team. It's always amazing to have you here, and the service is so, so special. Am Yisrael Chai on page 1. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael